Okay, good morning everyone, and Chazak, Baruch, thank you for joining us on this beautiful Wednesday morning, my friends. Wednesday morning as we are getting ready for the holiday of Rosh Hashanah, and thank you for joining us on this beautiful Wednesday morning. My friends, as we approach the holiday, the new year, we know that each month has a name, and we know that the name of the upcoming month, the month that we are starting over, the month that we're getting judged on, is called the month of Tishri. Okay, Tishrei, if you're Ashkenaz. Okay. What does Tishrei mean? You know, the months, they're not Hebrew names. Don't look it up in a Hebrew dictionary. You have to look up a Aramaic dictionary. The months come from Iraq. Okay? And each month, it's like January, February. It's English. So Tishri, Hishvan, Kislev, it's Aramaic. And if you look, you'll find that these words do find themselves in Aramaic translations of the Torah. So as an example, the word Tishri, Shiri, comes from the Aramaic. Shere means to begin. If you look in Devarim, chapter 2, Moshe Rabbeinu says to the Jewish people that today you begin, Hahel, to begin, Tehillah, and Onkelush translated Shere. Okay, so Tishri means to begin. So it's a new year, it's a year of beginning, it's a year of excitement. And I want to share with you an idea from Rabbi Bernstein, something beautiful, a book that we used in the past, definitely worth getting if you haven't gotten a book yet on the holiday of Rosh Hashanah, the high holidays. He takes us to the korbanot that are discussed in the Parashat Pinehas. The Parashat tells us that you bring korbanot on the holidays, and each holiday gets different amount of cows and bulls and things. The Shabbat, Rosh Chodesh, and then it goes into the festivals. It tells us about Pesach. So it says, Vehikrabtem ishe olal Adonai. You shall offer a fire offering. How much? 2 young bulls, 1 ram, 7 male lambs. First year, unblemished. Okay, very nice. So here we are being told that on Passover, Vehikrabtem, you have to bring. Fast forward to Shavuot, same thing. Vehikrabtem, you have to bring to offer. And that is how it is on all the holidays. Yom Kippur, Vehikrabtem. I'm just fast forwarding. Sukkot, Vehikrabtem. You get the idea. The word that's used again and again and again is hakraba, to offer. Except for Rosh Hashanah. Please open chapter 29 in the book of Numbers, Bamidbar. If you open to Pasuk 2, it doesn't say vehikrabtem, rather it says va'asitem. And you shall make. Throughout the chapter, the Torah uses the word vehikrabtem, and all of a sudden you use the word to make. And over here, Torah is telling us a very big lesson. Let me read to you the Midrash. The Midrash says to make Ma'aleh ani alechem, if you do what you have to on this day of Rosh Hashanah, if you do your job, if you appear before me for judgment, Ma'aleh ani alechem, I consider it as if Ki'ilu na'asitem beriyah hadasha. God says, I will consider it as if you made yourself new. So the word va'asitem, we're being told, is the ability to attain a new existence, a new you. New year, new you. So it doesn't say vehikrabtem, to offer. It says much better than that. It says va'asitem, that you shall make. Because Torah is hinting that you are making yourself brand new person today. That is actually something that's generally true when it comes to teshuvah. We have to remember the Rambam's words, that when a person does teshuvah, the Rambam says, Meshaneh Shemo. You got to change your name. What does that mean, to change your name? It doesn't mean that instead of Al, you're now Albert. That's not what it means. What does it mean to change your name? Ke'ilu ani aher. I'm not the same guy. Oto ha'ish she'asa otam ha'ma'asim. I'm not that guy that had those same deeds. I'm not that guy. I'm a new person. You could change your name, you could do whatever you want, but if you're not going to change yourself, it's worthless. That's why when a person is sick, we change their name. But the hope is that by changing their name, they change their ways. Meshaneh makom, meshaneh mazal. When you change your place, you change your luck. Again, you can move to anywhere in the world, but if you're not going to change who you are, it's not going to change anything. Meshaneh makom means you got to change up here. You got to change here. You got to change who you are. A Baal Teshuvah, he's a new person. He's a new person. You know, sometimes in life, when we have our old labels, it's hard for us to move forward. We're stuck. We feel like we have all of that that reputation. It's hard to move forward. It's hard to move past that. But we have to remember that by changing my name, it gives me the reminder that I'm not that guy. I'm responsible for those things that I did, and I have to address them, and I got to do teshuvah, and I'm not proud of what I did. But sometimes we become hopeless. We feel helpless. We feel like, I can't, it's too hard, it's impossible. So now Torah says, you have a new name, new profile, new you. Start over. The idea of being able to start over is a very powerful gift. Because when I can't start over and I'm still tied down to who I was, it's very hard to leave. That's why sometimes you need to start over. A lot of times people, they move to a new city, a new place, and that allows them to really step it up. I'll give you, an example. Many times you find a kid after high school, they go to yeshiva in Israel. All of a sudden, the kid's flying. Kid's steiging away. What happened? Same kid, learning Gemara in high school, hated it. Learning Gemara, moves to another country, he loves it. Now you may say, because Israel, it's not only Israel. If a kid comes from Israel to America, I know people that they did their opposite commute. They grew up in Israel, didn't work for them, they came to America, they're flying. The answer is because sometimes you got to go to a new place. Meshaneh makom, meshaneh mazal. A new place allows me to realize that I'm not that guy. I don't have to be that guy. My old place, everyone knew me as a certain person. Oh, yeah, we know you. We know you, what you're going to become religious now. We know you, you sketch. We know who you really are, your real colors deep down. You could wear a kippah now, you could wear this, you could wear that. But we know the real you. So when people know the real you, they don't respect the real you, and then you start losing self-respect. They don't really believe that you can become a new person. That's why, according to some opinions, that's why Moshe Rabbeinu, he had to leave Egypt for a big part of his life before he became the leader. Because if he grew up in Egypt, he's going to have his history. He's going to have his past. He's going to have his reputation. Oh, that's little Moe. Hey Mo, what's doing? What? You're the leader? You're here to take us out? You are so cute, Moshe. We love that. We love it. What a cute guy, guys. Look at this Moshe over here. Coming to take us out of Egypt. Abus. So Moshe couldn't grow up in Egypt, or else people won't respect him because they're going to know a little bit about his childhood. Everyone has a childhood. Everyone has a past. Everyone makes mistakes. So God wanted him to grow up somewhere else. Now come 60 years later and demand your respect. Now you can't move in life. Well, Rabbi, you want me to move now? But that's why it's important to we have Rosh Hashanah where we're able to move into a new year. Sometimes you have to leave certain friends that are not letting you move because they keep blocking your success. They keep reminding you of your past. You're not allowed to do that, by the way. You're not allowed to remind somebody of their past. When a guy's growing, when a guy's changing, when a guy's doing good, a guy's trying to grow, a person's trying to get rid of addiction, trying to get rid of bad traits, you're not allowed to say, wow, look at you, just last year, you came a long way. You're not allowed to do that. You make the guy feel bad. Remind him where he was. You kind of giving him a message that we know who the real you is. So Rosh Hashanah gives us an opportunity. Va'asitem. Not vehikrabtem, but va'asitem. You're a new person. What you did before is not really you. It's external. You have to atone, but you could wipe it off. You could get rid of it. You could change. By the way, we also have to remember that Rosh Hashanah, it's not just a day that God allowed us to start over. We know in Judaism, there's something very, very deep about the holidays. The holidays are not commemorative. The holidays don't just remember something that happened. It's not like the non-Jewish holidays. The non-Jewish holidays, they remember something. July 4th, I remember 1776. Thanksgiving, I remember when the pilgrims. We're not here to remember. Judaism is not remembering. The holidays are reliving. Important to know that. July 4th, 2024 has zero significance. But Rosh Hashanah 2024 is as holy as Rosh Hashanah last year and Rosh Hashanah the year before and the first Rosh Hashanah ever. The same holiness, the same energy that happened in year one comes back every single year on the same day. Rav Dessler says it's like the train stops. When the train leaves the station didn't go anywhere. The train went, the station's still there, the same station. And when the train gets back, boom, it relocks into that station. The holidays, there's different points throughout the year. They have very different but holy points. Energy. Hashem created the world with energy. Each holiday has a new energy, different energy. Pesach has an energy called freedom. Shavuot has an energy called Torah. Right? Adar, there's an energy of Simha. Every holiday has its energy. When we reach that holiday, we're able to reach maximum potential of that energy. What is the energy of Rosh Hashanah? It's the same energy that was there last year and the year before and the first one. What was the first Rosh Hashanah? The first Rosh Hashanah, we have to remember that Hashem created Adam. And the first man was created on this day. So now we understand the energy is that each of us gets to recreate ourselves. It's a very powerful idea. So Rosh Hashanah, Hashem created Adam. And every Rosh Hashanah, we create our own new Adam. Each of us. You decide, what do you want to create? Va'asitem. You make a new person today. That's Hayomarat Olam. Today the world was created. We have to remember that. It was created and it's being created all over again. New you. New person. Now this ties very nicely to the theme of shofar. The pasuk says, Tik'u b'chodesh shofar. The verse in Tehillim reminds us that you have to blow the shofar b'chodesh. The word chodesh comes from the word hadash. Hadash, new. But there's a deeper layer over here. It wasn't just that we blow a shofar. Why don't we do something else? Maybe wave a lulav. Maybe read a book. Why blow a shofar? But we have to remember that the very first object that was blown into, when Hashem created Adam, how did He create Adam? Vayipach be'apav ruach hayim. God blew into Adam life. So when we blow the shofar, we are reenacting the first act of blowing that was done in history that gave life to Adam. When we blow the shofar, each of us receives a new life. We start over too. That's a very powerful shofar. And as we hear it, we remember, start over. New beginning. Nu Adam. Va'asitem. But we have to remember that the pasuk's talking about va'asitem. It's in the context of a korban, of a sacrifice. What exactly are we sacrificing? What are we sacrificing? Somehow, the idea of starting over is connects to bringing a korban. What does the korban Hashem want us to bring today? What is that korban? The answer is we're bringing a korban in order to have a new existence. We have to offer up our old existence. That's what we're sacrificing. We're sacrificing our old selves. We're sacrificing the mistakes that we make throughout the year. A lot of the sins that we apologize for. We have to remember that the sin is just a symptom. If a person is going to say sorry for the sin, but they don't address the root of the problem, they're missing the whole point. When a person says, I'm sorry I didn't go to shul, it's not enough. You have to ask, why didn't you go to shul? Why didn't you pray? Because maybe tefillah is not important to you. Maybe because you didn't pray because you have to make money. So the problem is not that you didn't pray. The problem is that your value system, your priorities are all messed up. You prioritize money too much. So because money is so valuable to you, so now money, you miss minyan. And now because of money, you don't spend time with your wife or your kids. Maybe because of money, you broke Shabbat, you had to answer emails, or you spend Shabbat in places that were not conducive for Shabbat observance. Maybe because of money, you lie in business, and you cheat from people, and you steal from people, and you're dishonest, and you lie in taxes, because of you value money too much. So there's a lot of million problems that happen. So the problem is not a million things. There's a much bigger problem. The problem is that you value money. A person's talking lashon hara about people. A person's jealous of other people. That's just a symptom. There's a much deeper problem. The underlying cause of all those things. What's the root of the problem? Is that you think that you deserve greatness. You think you're better than that person. You ask, wow, God, why them, not me? They don't deserve it. I deserve it. I'm so much better. I should be the one getting all of that kavod. I'm the one that should be getting all of that money or whatever it is. I am better than them. So you have a problem here, not of jealousy or of gossip. You're putting down people. There's a much bigger problem, is that you have an inflated ego. You're arrogant. That's the problem. You go to a doctor and they don't just see that you have a black and blue. The doctor wants to know why you have a black and blue. That's a question that a person has to ask themselves on Rosh Hashanah. As you get ready to become a new person. There's old ways of mine that have to go. There's old beliefs that I had, values that I had, priorities that I had, ways of seeing the world that I had. That's got to go, that's got to change. It's a hard thing to change. Change is not easy. Change means admitting that I had it all wrong. Change means that you mean to tell me I got to now admit that my last 10 years were a mistake. That I've been doing the wrong thing. That I was negligent as a father, negligent as a mother, negligent as a husband. That I've been doing the wrong things. It's hard to say that. It's hard to admit we're wrong. Especially in a world that's trying to shove down our throats today the idea that you are good and that you are perfect. And whatever you believe is right. And however you think, however you feel, your feelings are good feelings. No matter what, no matter who. Whoever you want to marry, that's fine. However you want to be, that's fine. Whatever size you want to be, embrace. Even if it's an unhealthy, embrace it. You are you. You are good. Don't try to change. That's the world today. Rosh Hashanah says you got to change. You're not okay. You need a makeover. You got to look in the mirror and say, I'm not okay. Most of us are okay saying, yeah, there's certain things I got to tweak. No. Rosh Hashanah means you got to become a new person. Not a tweaking. You need an extreme makeover. Va'asitem. You got to become new. To become new, we got to get rid of the old. We got to get rid of the old way we saw the world. Yesterday, I was in the center of the world. I was delusional. I thought my needs mattered. How many times a day do we say, Hashem, what do you need? Hashem, what do you want? You prayed the Amidah today. Did you ask God, God, what do you want today? How can I help you? You don't even think like that. Why would I ask God what he needs? It's about me. God's here to serve me. We forget that it's his world. We forget that he's in charge. That I'm here to serve him. It's his house. So Rosh Hashanah, we have to get rid of that old misconception that we had. The wrong way of seeing things. I'm not the center. God, you're the center. So that's a big korban. That's a big sacrifice. To be able to admit that. To be able to sacrifice me. I'm sacrificing my old self. I have to throw away 50 years of my life. It's hard to do that. It's hard to do that. Sometimes we lose money. And instead of taking the loss, we double down. We lose more money. We throw away more money into the investment because we have to justify our past mistake. And Rosh Hashanah means we have to stop justifying. Stop trying to fix it. Stop trying to just say you were wrong. It's a hard thing to say. Hard thing to say to Hashem. Hard thing to say to our spouse. Think about how often we apologize. I'm sorry. Rarely do we say those words. And if we do, it's followed with a but. I'm sorry, but, when you do that, it's hard. It's hard to say we're wrong. It's hard to say we're living a mistake. Our priorities are all messed up. I need not a tweaking, a new person. Va'asitem. You got to start over. You got to become new. So that's what we're offering up. We're korban, we're offering up our old existence. We have to throw away that person in order to be able to receive the new person that's waiting for us on Rosh Hashanah. Maybe that's what Malchuyot means, by the way. We know Rosh Hashanah has 3 themes. Shofar, Zechronot, remembering, and Malchuyot, kingship. Shofar, we blow the shofar. Remember, God remembers everything. And Malchuyot, king. The idea of Rosh Hashanah is, God, you are the king. You're the center. My whole life I'm living a lie. I created this fake image that I'm the center. An alternate reality. God, I take it back. You're the center. You're the Melech. That's why on Rosh Hashanah we don't ask for anything. How backwards would it be if on the one day that we're trying to say, God, you're in charge, by the way, God, I need this and I need that, you missed the whole point. We don't ask for anything because then you're missing the point. God, you're in charge, period. I don't need anything. What do you need of me? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. With this in mind, we have a deeper understanding of the Gemara. Gemara says, Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tik'u lefanai b'shofar shel ayil. You got to blow on Rosh Hashanah a shofar of a ram. You can't blow any shofar, by the way. There's rules to the shofar. You can't just go to the music store and buy any trumpet. It's got to be a shofar of a ram. Can't even be of a cow. It's got to be a ram. Blow the shofar of a ram. Why ram? Kedei she'ezkor lachem akedat Yitzhak ben Avraham. Beautiful. And now I will remember the ram of the Akedat Yitzchak. The hardest test maybe of all time. Where till today we're reaping the benefits. Where God says to Avraham Avinu, I want you to take your son, your only son, Yitzchak, sacrifice him. And he did. He took him up. And he almost sacrificed him. Last second, God came and stopped him. He said, okay, just kidding. You're good. And for the rest of time, we're eating off of that sacrifice. So we blow shofar of ayil. We're trying to dangle in front of Hashem's eyes. God, remember the Akedah. Remember the ayil. Wow. God says, okay, I'm going to let you go. I'll let you go. And when we hear that shofar, we have to remember the Akedah Yitzchak. U'ma'aleh ani alechem kilu akatem atzmechem lefanai. And God says, I will make it as if you have bound yourselves before me. That's a hidush. The first part I understand. I understand that blowing a shofar reminds God of the Akedah, and I want to now partake of that merit, the Zechut Avot. I want to cash in. But how does sounding the shofar make it now like I offered myself? The Akedah was a sacrifice. I'm just doing a mitzvah. But according to what we said, now we understand we're not just doing a mitzvah. You're also sacrificing. Yeah, Yitzchak was sacrificed, and you're sacrificing you. We're sacrificing ourselves today. We're throwing away a big part of us. Not easy. God asked Avraham to get rid of his son. That he wanted him to throw away that part of himself, his child. Not an easy thing to do. But you and me, we're not being asked to throw away our children. We're being asked something much harder maybe. We're being asked to throw away ourselves. To get rid of yourself. To get rid of you, your ego. The way you see things. The way you feel about things. The way you understand things. Your hashkafa. Your outlook. You got to throw it all away. Akedat Yitzchak is hard. But really, Akedat of ourselves, that's harder. That's much harder. Nothing in the world to a person is more dear than their ego, than their honor. I got to throw that all away. I got to be able to look at myself and say that's all no good. You're telling me I got to really change everything? Am I that bad? Am I that off? Yeah. Got to throw it all away. We got to rethink everything. Everything about ourselves. All bets are off. Put everything on the table. I wasn't born. Nobody is born, by the way. Nobody's born good. Nobody's born knowing the right way to live, the right way to think, the right way to act. We're born selfish. We're born lazy. We're born ego, arrogant, angry. That's how we're born. That's a default. We got to work on overcoming that. If we don't work on it, how is it going to happen? It's not going to happen by itself. It's not going to happen alone. We got to work. That's Rosh Hashanah. Throw that old you away. Make room for a new you. Hayom harat olam. Today, man was created. And today, each of our own selves are created. We're creating our new selves, each of us. On Rosh Hashanah, we each become a new person. So not vehikravtem, asitem. Don't sacrifice your old self. Become a new person. And the way to do that Asitem is by hikravtim. We got to throw old away, make room for the new. I think it's a very powerful idea when we are able to do that, to question our prior state of existence. We allow a new existence, a better existence, a new year. Tichle shana vekiloteha. We get rid of the year and the curses. We make new room for a new year and blessings. Sacrifice the old, receive the new. Be'ezat Hashem. We could use the next few days to utilize, to really rethink, not what other people have to change. Don't take this class and forward it to somebody. Don't ask yourself, oh, really, I hope she listens to this. I hope I should give this to my mother-in-law. I should give this to my sister. Don't give this to nobody. If you want, pass it on, that's fine. But take this class, we each have to take it for ourselves. Each of us ourselves. Not they need to grow, they need to change the way they think. Wow, Rabbi, beautiful lesson, you're right, they really should rethink their lives. No, they shouldn't rethink it. I have to rethink my life. If everyone says that, we rethink. We become a new person, each of us. Be'ezat Hashem. Okay, we'll stop over here. Have a wonderful day, and hopefully we'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.